My hands are shaking. There's a different cat here today. This one's Ripley. Ah! Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. There's a cat butt on me. Oh, he's gone. Okay. So let's talk about books that trigger the heck out of my really weird specific phobia. But before we do that, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell icon so you know when I upload new videos. I upload twice a week. Did you guys watch the season premiere of The Last of Us TV show on HBO Max or whatever it's on? I watched it on Crave. That was awesome. It was so awesome. Why am I talking about that? I have a good reason. I wanted to talk a little bit today about what the title suggests, which is my very weird specific phobia that is triggered often by horror books, The Last of Us TV show, and sometimes some unexpected things. Is it zombies? No. Good guess if you've watched or played The Last of Us, but no, it is not zombies. It's not anything like that. I have mycophobia. Okay, I'm not afraid of mushrooms. Mushrooms are not going to hurt me, but I am made just physically ill. I am disgusted by fungus, mushrooms, and then very specifically things growing on other things that it shouldn't happen. I'm like sweating even just talking about this. Usually I just say I have mycophobia because that's the easiest one to explain. That is basically a fear of fungus, mushrooms, mold, spores, that sort of thing. That phobia specifically often refers to the fear of getting sick from these things, which makes sense. I'm not afraid of getting sick from mold and fungus. I am just so disgusted by them. But it's not just mushrooms and fungus, which is why mycophobia is not 100% accurate, but I've looked and I cannot find an actual legitimate phobia or word that describes whatever I have. Think about Pirates of the Caribbean 2, Dead Man's Chest. I'm just realizing I'm gonna have to Google search images to insert to like explain what I'm talking about. You know the part where Will ends up on the Flying Dutchman for the first time and he's sort of walking around and there's like barnacles everywhere and like his dad, spoilers for Pirates of the Caribbean 2, his dad has like barnacles and like a starfish growing on his face. It's that sort of thing. I have a hard time that I just cannot handle. Organic and inorganic things growing on organic things. And then weirdly enough, like crystals, rocks, and geometric shapes. So there's definitely a little trypophobia? The one, you know, the little holes one? Lots of people have that one. Trypophobia? I don't know, I'll insert. I don't know if I'm even doing a good job explaining this because I'm genuinely like freaking out right now. Anyways, what is the point of the video other than me having a panic attack? How is my phobia related in any way to books and nerdy things? I'm gonna talk to you about 3 books that I've read recently that triggered the heck out of my phobia so that either you can avoid them because you have similar feelings to myself, or you can read them because you think they sound interesting and you love mushrooms growing on people. Obviously, since I'm going to be talking about books and entertainment where that sort of thing is the major factor in the story, especially for 2 of these, it's kind of like the big twist revelation. Spoiler alert. Stop watching now, I guess, if you don't want these mystery books spoiled, or keep watching if you don't care. You've probably read them. I'm holding one of the books in my hand right now and I just looked at the cover and it, like, I would like to throw up. I'm sweaty and I'm going to pass out. The first 2 books I'm going to talk about are remarkably similar books, and in fact, in the author's notes for one of them, the author actually explains that she was working on this, and then the other book came out and she was like, ah, shoot, that's my book. But she still put hers out anyway, and they are different enough. They're both really interesting. They're just hard for me to read. I'm always on the search for new gothic horror books. I think they're absolutely fascinating. I love the writing style, the slow pacing, the haunting imagery, the just general spookiness. But apparently in 2019, two separate authors of gothic horror decided that mushrooms would be the best villain ever. The first of those novels is none other than Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I put a review on Instagram and Goodreads of this last week, I believe. Overall, this book, I'll just quickly say, was about like 3.5 stars for me. I'm not gonna get into it because this video is not a review of Mexican Gothic. I'm also not gonna go into too much detail about what the heck mushrooms actually have to do with this story, because I don't want to spoil everything in case you haven't read it and you would like to. But I can tell you that mold and fungus play a major part in this book inside people's bodies, and it is horrifying for me. I did know going into this that that would be the case, so I did this to myself completely on purpose. And the reason I knew is because my favoritist author ever, T. Kingfisher, also put out her book, What Moves the Dead. Look at this cover. I know it won't focus on it, but like, oh my god. Oh my god. What Moves the Dead is a novella, as most of her books are. It's a retelling of The Fall of the House of Usher by Edgar Allan Poe. It's really good. I have done a review for this as well. It was like, I think it was about 4 stars for me. Definitely an enjoyable book. The ending wraps up very neatly in a very extremely similar way to Mexican Gothic, actually, like almost identical. And she is the one who in her author's note said, oh shoot, Mexican Gothic is literally the book that I wrote. But they're both extremely short, so I recommend reading both of them because why not? This one messed me up for a while. After reading What Moves the Dead, I consistently had dreams for the next few nights that there were mushrooms and plants growing on my scalp. I just like gagged. I kept having these dreams, very vivid, very, very, very unsettling. So after reading What Moves the Dead, I don't know why, because this flower is not specifically in that book in any ways, but I consistently had dreams that Queen Anne's lace was growing out of my scalp along with mushrooms, and it was disgusting. And I used to think this shower curtain, this is a shower curtain, was the most adorable thing in the world. I love it. I can't stand looking at it now. Like I'm on the hunt for a new shower curtain because this triggers my phobia and stresses me out. Sorry if 80% of this video is me just like gagging and freaking out. Now, I don't think that in What Moves the Dead, she ever specifically stated that the fungus involved in the story were cordyceps, but if you recognize the word cordyceps, you've probably played The Last of Us. Or you watched the first episode of the show last week. Not really spoilers, but the very first scene in the show is a TV interview in the 1960s explaining what cordyceps are and why they're the worst thing ever. Cordyceps are a real thing. They mostly exist in ants, and as is explained in the show and the game, or just, you know, on the internet, it is a fungus that, it eats its host, but it keeps its host alive so that it can continue to eat it and doesn't let them decompose completely, and it can sort of like control basic functions. That's essentially what's happening in What Moves the Dead and in The Last of Us. I played The Last of Us and The Last of Us Part 2, and for whatever reason the games didn't affect me too badly. I think because most of the time I was focusing on not just dying, and I was focusing on playing the game rather than just passively observing, which is what I did for the show premiere this weekend. I knew going into it that it was gonna be freaking hard for me. Even just the title credits, you know, the opening of the show is all like mushroomy, fungusy stuff growing around the names of the directors and actors and stuff, and I genuinely just covered my face and asked my partner to tell me when that was over so I could start watching the show. I need to get like a lobotomy that removes these images from my brain. Now, after everything I've explained about those two books and The Last of Us, you might be thinking, well, Jules, you have mycophobia. It's mushrooms. But that's the thing, it's not just mushrooms. I also have a book in my hand here that demonstrates, just with its cover, another part of my phobia. This book has nothing actually in its content that triggers my phobia, but the cover itself stresses me out. And I'm gonna show it to you, and it's not gonna make any sense, but just trust me. So in my hands, I've got the Never Tilting World. This looks normal, right? But it's these crystals here. It's the crystals. I hate crystals. I hate that they grow. I hate that they're geometric. I hate it. This amethyst was gifted to me by a friend, and I adore it because of who it's from and, you know, what it means. But like this hole, which is called a vug, by the way, this vug is distressing. Let me know what you think. Am I crazy? Do you know what the phobia of like crystals and rocks is called? Because I would like to never look at this again if I could. Ooh, that is it for my video today. I'm gonna go have 17 showers and then set myself on fire. Do you have any weird phobias? Actually, I am genuinely curious. Like, tell me in the comments below if you have any weird fears or phobias or just things that disgust you. Do you read books or consume media that will make you uncomfortable? Like, do you do that intentionally? Am I a freak? Please let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell icon so you know when I upload my new videos. I upload twice a week. Bye!